is shortly after 2 p.m. on January 1st, 2022. Happy New Year's, guys. I wanted to make a video in response to a comment I received on my video yesterday. He makes an excellent point, and I wanted to address it. Before we get started, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. This is merely just my thoughts and opinions as a fellow crypto pioneer. My video yesterday was right here, what's happening in Jade Protocol Part 2 the day after, where I'm talking about basically the day after the announcement of Jade Protocol, pivoting from a Olympus DAO fork over to a utility token that's backed by a decentralized VC fund, which is a really cool pivot, but there's a couple things that I think we need to shake out. So C4, the comment is by C41100, and he's playing the devil's advocate here, so try not to get upset with him. He's just trying to make a point that I was wondering as well. So he says, why not just unstake, hold, and leech off the loyal stakers? He doesn't care about voting, ideology, bragging rights, or club membership. Sure, he cares about the upward price momentum, but so does everybody else. And apparently means nothing if he unstakes and sells. He says, so what's in it for me? How do I get paid? How do I benefit financially from staking and not selling? What am I missing? And I would actually further add the point that it means nothing if he unstakes and holds. Unstaking and hold would be worse than unstaking and selling for the fair market price. And so, yeah, so he's making a great point here. I think we shouldn't underestimate how important the point he's making here is. It needs to be addressed, and I'll talk about that in a second. And Mark only replies with, is it not in your best interest for the price to go up? If not, then simply sell and move on. By staking, you lower the available supply, which brings the price down. So Mark is absolutely right here as well. So Mark is giving what I would call the academic answer. This is the answer that I would give as well. Mark is saying this because he read the literature. He understands that the available supply of Jade in circulation, the lower that is, the higher the fair market value price is displayed on the Jade website. And theoretically, the actual Jade market price should follow that fair market value price. And so the amount of Jade in circulation, the less that there is, the higher the theoretical price should follow. So he understands that because he read the documentation. However, that's not the type of investor that C4 is talking about. The type of investor that C4 is talking about is what I would call the casual investor, somebody that doesn't have a lot of time to invest, or someone that doesn't have a lot of time to research their investments. They're researching small amounts of money, like coffee, the money that they would spend in their morning coffee, something like that. They're not going to spend a lot of time reading all the literature that Mark is referencing here that I've been talking about, and there probably will be the majority of the users in the future will be the type of investor that C4 is talking about here. By the way, I'm from software, so if I use the term user and investors interchangeably, I apologize. That's just, I've been in software for far too long. So the casual investor is the type of investor that we're talking about here. So the casual investor is somebody that would be investing small amount of money, so like $100 or less. They're not particularly going to spend ages studying the background of an information, because if the money disappears, no big deal for them. They've invested. They're probably invested in lots of different projects, so they're not going to spend ages on each individual project. All they're looking at is the fact that the price is either going up or down, and they might read a quick little blurb about the project, but that's probably the extent of their research. It could even be that they just got an advice from a friend. Maybe they don't have a lot of time to research, or here's another important point. Maybe they don't even know that there's much to research. How would they know that they should be reading all the background information on this? I mean, theoretically, they could find the Medium articles, but are they even following the project on Twitter or Discord? Do they even know that there's a Discord? Are they on Twitter? So there's a lot of assumptions that they're on Twitter, that they're on the Discord channel that they've been reading the Medium articles, there's a lot of assumptions there, and it's fairly unlikely that that all of the users will be doing that research. So let's create a hypothetical scenario. Let's say we have 1,000 casual investors, right? They come along the project, say 3, 4 months from now, or 5 months from now, or a year from now, and they're not going to go back in Twitter or Discord and do the research. And let's say they each put in $100. So that would be obviously $100,000 of unstaked Jade. Let's say they just like buy it on PancakeSwap and they don't even go to the Jade website. Maybe they don't even know that there's a Jade website. Let's say this happens 10 times a month, and so that would be $1 million worth of unstaked Jade per month. This is not only a likely scenario, but this, I would actually argue, so if I was in the room with the team, the Jade team, I would be hammering on this point, because this is actually a very likely scenario, and it's going to become more likely the further we get away from the pivot time-wise. And this is an issue because this not only hurts the price of Jade, but it also, if this becomes the case, then that's going to hurt the staked Jade holders that are following the 3-3 protocol and doing, quote, the right thing. There's no incentive for people to continue to remain staked if the unstaked users, and I'm not even blaming the unstaked users. Like I said, the points that I was making before is maybe they don't have time to research, they don't know that there's stuff to research, it's a very small amount of money, so there's psychology of them thinking, well, I only have $100 in there. My $100 isn't damaging the price of Jade. But the thing is if there's a lot of people, which it's likely that there will be, that will affect the price of Jade. So I can't imagine that the team hasn't talked about this. And like I said, if I was in that room, I would be hammering on this point. I'm sure that they had this mapped out on their whiteboard when they were talking about this pivot. So I think, and let's just get into my theory. So I think that they've already thought about this and that they have a solution already in place. And I think the solution is in plain sight. So if you look at the staked page, so with the pivot, they remove the APY, they remove the calculator over here, and then they remove the rebasing information with the pivot, right? So, but there's one thing that they haven't removed, and I'll give you a second to try to find it. Right here, the airdrop. I think what's going to happen is the airdrops is going to be the financial incentive to remain staked. They've tried this, the airdrop a few times weekly over the past month or a couple months. I was personally not a fan of the airdrop when the rebasing was in place, but I thought it was, I don't know, it was a nice little cash incentive. However, people were judging the health of the project based on the airdrops, and I remember one week when they missed it by a couple of days, everybody freaked out thinking that it was going to be a rug. So I'm not keen on the airdrop being, like I said, a metric of the health of the project. However, now that rebasing is gone, I think it's very important that there's a benefit financially from staking. This is such an important point. Otherwise, we could get ourselves into a situation like this, which could be damaging to the project. So I think that they're going to bring airdrops back. That's my prediction. It's just a theory. And I don't know if they're going to bring it back in like a regular schedule like they did before, when it's like every Wednesday afternoon. They could just do it randomly on Twitter, make a quick little Twitter announcement saying, hey, like, there'll be an airdrop tomorrow. I personally, if I were them, I wouldn't do it that way, just because I think I would encourage having a regular schedule, even if it's a smaller amount, like a smaller amount weekly. I think that would be better than requiring everybody to go to Twitter, because I know for me, like, I'm not on Twitter every day. So if I miss an airdrop because I wasn't like going into my Twitter every day, then I'd be a little annoyed by that. But yeah, I think it would be better if it was a regular schedule. That's just my opinion. But I think, anyways, in summary, I think that the airdrops are going to come back. I would like to see them on a regular schedule, and I think that this will be the financial incentive for staking that C4 is bringing up, and because this is a scenario that it would be potentially very damaging to the project. So I don't think I'm sure that they considered this. So I think that's why they've left airdrops in here, and I think that this is going to be the financial benefit for the project. So I hope that answers your question, C4. Thank you for the question. I do appreciate it, and I do appreciate Mark's reply as well. But anyways, that's it. I will leave it there, and I'll talk to you guys later.